8 years of consistent growth in our coaching business, every single year bigger than the one prior, and if anything is to go by by the amount that I pay in tax, then I guess that the profit was higher each year also. Now it is so humid today, I literally had to go back in and wipe this down. So I'm not even sure if we're going to end up seeing this, but for the next 20 minutes I'm going to go through 7 things that I identified that had probably the biggest impact on making that happen. Not only building pretty great coaching business, but simultaneously making sure that every year is consistently getting bigger than the next year. And a huge proponent of this, and something to consider, is that goes through in an 8-year period. Like it's not too difficult to have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old coaching business and have years being bigger than the year prior, especially when you've got that sort of new business momentum behind you and being the new kid on the block or whatever it may be. But being able to be consistent with having a growing coaching business through different economic environments, through a pandemic and the recovery of the pandemic, through multiple recessions, even though over here apparently they literally changed the definition of recession to avoid it being something that came into this election cycle. But anyway, all of those things playing into it, trying to be consistent for 8 years in a row in terms of not just staying consistent but actually growing for 8 years isn't the easiest feat, as it were. And I'm going to walk you through 7 things in this video that we did in the business to make that happen. And I will do a couple of quick jump cuts because I can't even think of them off the top of my head. I literally wrote them out before coming out to go to the gym. So here we go. And first off, as always, if you're new here, I'm Neil Shoney Mac. Last 8.5 years, I've taken thousands of coaches through the 6, multi-6, 7, and now even multi-7 figures per year spaces inside their coaching business. And I've done that through installing not one size fits all, completely unique and repeatable marketing systems into their coaching business. So if you are looking for the marketing strategies that are working right now, we're always innovating on a week-to-week basis and bringing that to our clients, but I also bring it to this channel as well. So hit subscribe and hit like on this video, and if you're a really good person, then drop a comment below. I'll really appreciate it. Into the video. So first off, to make this happen, I actually minimized the amount of time that I spent marketing. So when I first came on the scene, as it were, just like I think that for the majority of brand new coaches, this should pretty much be the focus point anyway, but it's working as hard as possible, as many hours as possible to an extent, to really gain traction and market share as quickly as possible, so that you can build up case studies and utilize those case studies for you know, easier future growth. As soon as you've got, you know, a whole bunch of testimonials of people that have had incredible experiences with you, it becomes a million times easier to plug and play those into any marketing strategy you do to get a completely disproportionate outcome on the other side. And so in the early days, I spent a ton of time marketing. However, as time has gone on, I've spent relatively or significantly less time marketing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And a huge proponent of that is ads. You know, if you have 100 messages being sent a day manually, and then you like the results that you're getting, even though the majority of people that have done that over the last 5 years have every single year seen the outcomes of that significantly go down. But even if you did like the ROI that you were getting on your time there, for instance, if you want to double the outcome, you need to double the amount of messages. Whereas with ads, it's nothing more than doubling the budget, which takes all of about 6 seconds to make that decision, as long as you can times things by 2. Of course, it's not a perfect match. You don't double the budget and get double the leads. Sometimes it can actually be better than that, but the majority of the time it's like a 0.9 in terms of how that scales. So if you want to scale quickly, utilizing ads is the thing that can do more in terms of lead gen in a single week than you can do manually in an entire year. It's a huge difference in terms of the type of results that you're going to see, and for me it's no different. Ads have been a huge proponent of my business. It's not just something that I know, that I implemented, that I taught for a period of time. Ads are still the majority of how we get our clients. Again, on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis. I'm literally down here filming this video, gonna quickly go into the gym literally for 15 minutes and then go back, because I've got 6 back-to-back calls. Literally one stops, the next one starts. They all came from ads, and the repeatable systems is what really makes it happen. So it's not just, inverted commas, that ads do more heavy lifting for you in the background than you can ever do yourself. That's one thing. The second thing, in terms of limiting the amount of time that I have to spend, marketing and creating and things of that nature, it comes down to how repeatable the systems are. The same lead magnets that I used 3 or 4 years ago are still the ones that I have running today. We've just updated them. So where I've got my Facebook ads course, it's gone from 2022 to 2023 to 2024. Next year, it will be updated to the 2025 one. The masterclass is Facebook ads for coaches 2024. It previously was 2023. It was previously 2022. And so finding those systems early that you can do in a repeatable fashion, and you can fuel them with ads, leads to a lot less time marketing and a lot more time earning inside your coaching business. Never mind that it creates complete consistency and predictability of where the next lead in sales is always coming from, when you're simply repeating something that you already know works, but the ads are always finding new people to go through the system. Okay, number 2 is that we adjusted marketing and also products and prices with the market. Now, that does not mean that we discounted when we needed to or anything like that. In fact, we have been wildly consistent with our pricing, often to the detriment of ourselves, because it's not just that we don't discount, it's also that we so rarely increase our prices. The prices that we had 2.5 years ago now are still the prices that we've got today for a vastly superior product, and I think that we're a lower price than almost anybody that we would be considered, inverted commas, competitors with, even though we're the ones with the volume of results, and we're the ones with the multi-6, 7 and multi-7 figure clients. But that's probably why our retention rate is almost 17 months, even though we don't have a contract that's anything close to that. So anyway, how we adjust throughout the markets. So for instance, when the pandemic hit, we went through this, or you might remember, we were all part of it. We went through this stage where everything was like, the world's coming to an end, everybody's going to be out of work, the economy is going to collapse, it's going to be the Great Recession again, it's going to be all of this like negativity, and people became so scared to spend money. And so at the time, we had a £1,500 program that we were selling day to day prior to this happening, and I still had people booking calls. In fact, actually, my cost per book call went down by about 2/3 during that period. And as you can imagine, it's because people were jumping onto the calls being like, I need to find out exactly what I need to do throughout this period. So they wanted to jump on calls for the free advice, I would imagine. However, the thing that was really interesting was that we had so many calls coming in, and everybody was like, I so want to do this, I can afford it, but we just don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. We need to see this play out. So even though our close rate previously was really good, we had more calls than ever, but less people than ever ready to take action. And again, if you're watching this and you've ever been on inverted commas a sales call with us, you'll know that we never push, we never overcome objections. We literally want every single person that ever works with us to know that it was their decision, and not because we said the right thing or overcame the right objection or made you feel shit about yourself so that we can position ourselves as a solution. None of that happens. So the same thing happened, and our sales percentage went down. So what we did was, we didn't discount, because I don't ever want to devalue what somebody else has invested in. So what we did instead was, we said, okay, we're going to come up with the most incredible offer ever for the people who know that this is exactly what they need through this tough time, to not just maintain their business or save their business, but also to grow it. And so we took the £1,500 product, and I got back in touch with all of those calls that I had taken. And then I started sharing this with everybody that I went onto the calls with, and I said, it's usually a single payment, $1,500, and then you get 6 months access with us. And when we made the adjustment, it was still $1,500, but they were able to pay over 6 months at $250 a month. And so they were like, so I only have to pay $250 today, but I get full access to everything. Yeah, that's it. $250 a month. Yeah, that's it. People were like in disbelief that we were willing to offer that, especially because they knew that at that time we were only taking single payments for the most part. And so when I did that adjustment, everybody was saying yes to it. People that I was like coming off of calls and being like, that person's literally never signing up. Even if the pandemic goes away tomorrow, that person's never signing up. They were signing up. And I added something in the next few months. It was something pretty ridiculous. It was like it was in the region of 20 to 30k of monthly recurring revenue that I added to the business. And we grew like faster than ever whilst doing it. So we were cash collecting relatively good, even though it was 1/6 of the usual payment, while simultaneously we were building so much monthly recurring revenue. And as you can imagine, if somebody comes in at $250 rather than $1,500, but they pay all 6 payments, you end up at the exact same outcome of $1,500. And by getting more of them over the line earlier on in the year, when the pandemic broke out, it also meant that before the end of the year, many of them were upgrading into continuation plans and things like that as well. So that's why even in that year, when we suddenly had less people signing up than ever from sales calls, just by simply tweaking things, we managed to get it to the point where it became, at that point, an all-time record year until the next one. But anyway, on to number 3. Okay, so at this stage, I actually remembered that I was a Scottish person, and I went inside to get back into the AC. However, let's dive into number 3 here, which is that I always kept tabs on data throughout the entire process, and most importantly, actually utilized that data. So there's 2 steps to data collection and actually utilizing it, or to data overall, you could say, which is that you need to be able to collect it accurately, and then second of all, you need to actually utilize it for specific outcomes. So a lot of people do a lot in terms of data collection, but have no idea how to look at it and really no want or need to do so. However, great coaches not only have great tabs on all of their data. What's their cost per lead? How many leads did they get this month? How many of those leads turned into booked calls? How many people showed up? How many programs were offered? How many people closed? What was the percentages across these numbers? All of these things, and many other points of data, of course, as well, are really important to know what is working and what is not working inside your business. We also track, with us having, like I said, the lead magnet, we have the live masterclass, we have our social media that we do. We also speak to people who reach out to us in the DMs, and we have our YouTube channel like you're on right now. And for instance, like down below, there is a link to go through and actually jump onto my personal calendar and spend 20 minutes with me mapping out the perfect ad strategy and overall client acquisition strategy for your own business in the next 6 weeks. It's not even a high pressure sales opportunity or anything like that. However, it is an opportunity for you to speak to me personally for 20 minutes through that link down below, at least at time of recording. It's specifically with me anyway. But by doing so, we have booked calls come in from many different places. So we track, where do those calls come from? And so having this data is the first thing. Like, if you don't have this data, you cannot make any informed decisions. You have to make best guesses, and best guesses do not grow coaching businesses. Second of all, when you have that data, instead of just having numbers and having spreadsheets, you have to be able to take action on it. So for instance, if I think to myself, okay, our live masterclasses are excellent because we get this many people who sign up to them and this many people show up every single week, and it's only an hour of delivery plus Q&A on the other side. So what a fantastic repeatable system inside our coaching business that we've had for years. Let's just throw more money at it. Albeit that is true, all of those things. Simultaneously, if within the data I found that other strategies might take a little bit more time or energy or effort or whatever, or investment, but they had completely disproportionate results in comparison to the time and energy and money that I'm spending on the masterclass, I would make adjustments accordingly. Okay, and so just like I said there with number 2, when we were in that time going into the pandemic, instead of just going, okay, we've got more calls than ever before, but they're all people who are just looking for like the silver bullet or the thing that they can do to get their business back on track in this really tough time economically, etc. None of them want to buy anything right now. The closing percentage has gone drastically down. Instead of looking at that data and going, okay, so we've got the data on that and we know things are completely going to pot and I'll probably be out of business in the next few months. Instead, looking at that data and saying, okay, so as we can see, we've got more calls than ever, which means the volume of opportunity is actually higher than ever, but we've got less people willing to take action. What's the number one reason that people are not taking action? Uncertainty of what's happening in the next few months here. They don't know where they're going to be financially, and so to outlay 1,500 was too big of a jump. And so what did we do? We took that data and we made an informed decision. We said, okay, we want to safeguard the investment that all of our coaches have made thus far, so we're not going to discount any further. However, what we are going to do is we're going to create an incredible split payment opportunity here for the coaches that come on board. What happened? We had a higher closing percentage than ever across that next 3-month period. We added so much in terms of monthly recurring revenue that ended up growing the business faster than ever in terms of number of clients in the business. Monthly recurring revenue grew faster than ever, and of course at the end of the year we had an all-time record year as well. Instead of the business going down the tubes, we ended up having an absolutely fantastic year. That's data tracking, and that is taking action on the data. So if you're not data tracking right now, and most importantly, if you're not taking action on the data that you're gathering, then you're missing out incredibly. Because by doing those two things together, you are genuinely in less than 5% of all coaches, because the majority of coaches do not track data and do not track data accurately. And further to that, they certainly don't take accurate actions on the other side of the data to make great results happen inside their coaching business. Okay, so number 4 here is obsession over what I call the 6-star experience. This is something that I put into our portal like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and still, even though it doesn't end up on everybody's game plans, we have people in which it's never touched their game plan, that people go and post inside the group and go, oh my goodness, I just watched the 6-star experience. It has completely changed everything for me here. And other people always go into the threads and they say, I watched it, I did this with my business, I did this with our clients, I did this, the retention went through the roof, all of these different things. And so the 6-star experience is really, really simple. Essentially, it is saying, it doesn't matter how good your coaching business is. Let's say it is a 5-star experience right now. You need to imagine that what you're doing right now is nothing more than a 4-star experience, okay? So write down on a piece of paper, if your coaching business as it stands right now, the onboarding system, your contact with your clients, the way you deliver to them, the materials that you give them, everything in between inside the coaching experience, if that is deemed as a 4-star experience, what would the 5-star experience look like? And it forces you to look at every single step of the client journey and to upgrade it in any which way you can, okay? But here's where it gets interesting. When you do this, you usually see the light in all the things that you can do to make your coaching business better, the product better, it more attractive, it's easier to talk about, more people want to refer their friends, more people want to stay for longer. But here's the really cool thing. When you then have that list and then you challenge yourself to come up with the 6-star experience, what you end up with is usually a list full of things that are almost impossible to do. But you either glean ideas from them or you actually find ways to make them happen. And when you do that, we tend to find that you no longer compete with your competitors, that you actually start to create something that is unique, that is so special that people want to talk about it. Like Seth Godin says, is your business remarkable? Worth making a remark about. And so it's true here as well with the 6-star experience. Many of these things will cause people to stay longer, well, to sign up, to stay longer, and to refer people to your business, okay? And the 6-star experience, for instance, albeit that we do this with like all of our live events, we're always like, with our live events, they start the night before. We put on a free bar for like 70 coaches. It's absolutely incredible. Every single time that we do it, the next day they have pastries and teas and coffees and everything. We have an amazing venue. We hire an expensive AV to make the visuals incredible for the people inside the room. We fly people in from all over the world to come and do guest talks when we know that they're going to be valuable to the people within the room. After the event, we have another free bar for 2 hours so that everybody can mingle together, and the only thing they have to think about is attending the event. So like we go with 6-star experience in terms of that type of live event. The 6-star experience was also, okay, what would the 6-star experience look like? Well, it'd probably be taking one of these and, you know, it's out at sea, right? That was literally one that I came up with whilst doing this exercise. And what did we do in January? We did our first ever mastermind on a massive yacht out at sea off the coast of Miami. It was absolutely incredible. It cost me an absolute fortune. It certainly wasn't a moneymaker, but it was part of creating the 6-star experience. Guess how many people have left Systems of Scale since that moment? Exactly 0. What are we on? Just going into the halfway point of the year. Retention 100%. Creating the 6-star experience makes an incredible impact on your business growth and the consistency of your business, and looking at it across your full client journey, and not just at events. That's just an example, but looking at it right down to how many touch points. We just moved from 1 Q&A per week to 3 Q&As per week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Albeit that we've got the best results in the market, we're always seeking out what is that next thing that we can do that takes things to the next level. I was about to blurt out there something that we're going to be announcing at this live event that we're going to be doing to amplify the amount of events going forward. It's going to be an incredible upgrade. It's not going to cost anybody a single penny more to do this. But again, obsessing about the 6-star experience makes massive differences to your onboarding, how many people come on board, how long they stay, and how many people they tell about your product. And by the way, our referral rate this year, or how many people are referring people out of all of the sales that we've had, is currently sitting at 12%, which is a pretty huge number. We onboard quite a lot of clients and we run a lot of ads and different bits and pieces. 12% of all of our clients this year have come from referrals, which is another huge thing on top of exactly 0 people leaving Systems of Scale in the entire year so far. Okay, the next thing that I did, number 5, was I stayed in the business. And what I mean by that is I continued to coach throughout the levels of growth that we had. So very often everybody tells you shouldn't be working in the business, you should be working on the business, and it doesn't matter if you're a coach instead of, you know, the owner of an automotive company. You shouldn't be doing anything inside the business. Everything should be outsourced, and that is like the route to scale and everything in between. And you know, I'm connected with a good chunk of people who do what I do in the space, and as such, I mean, maybe not specifically marketing coaching, but business coaching overall, for coaching businesses, sometimes in the fitness space, sometimes outside the fitness space. We work with all types of coaches, not just in the fitness space, but but they've always told me from years ago right through, like literally even like 4 or 5 years ago, they were like, "You're still doing coaching? You're still doing coaching? Like you're still in the group, you're answering questions, you're on Q&As. Should you not have somebody doing that at this part?" But for me personally, like I love coaching, so like I got into this because I love coaching, and we've got incredible systems in place, we've got incredible team in place, which allows us to work with so many coaches in a capacity that nobody really does, in terms of personalization with every single coach, a brand new 6-week game plan every 6 weeks. Even the ones that have been working with us for 4.5 years still get a one-to-one call every 6 weeks, a fresh game plan every 6 weeks. It's all optimized directly for them. We managed to do all that while still myself being in there coaching all the time. And, that's 2 hours a day, every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays. I coach inside the group, and every single week I do Q&As. Even when I had a speaking gig 2 months ago, 3 months ago in March, I had to fly from Florida to London for the speaking gig. And I was flying overnight on the Tuesday. I was arriving on the Wednesday, and the coaches that work in the business were like, "Oh, we'll take the Q&A for you this Wednesday because you'll be traveling, you'll be thinking about your speaking gig and all of those things." And I was like, "No, I'll take it. I'll find a way to make it work." And even though I couldn't get into my hotel room in time, what I did was I just found a little nook inside a hotel, and I ran the Q&A through this camera right here. I don't find ways to get myself out of the coaching business. I like to stay in the coaching business. If you're one of our coaching clients, you have access to me 7 days a week. I work closely with everybody inside the group. The more questions they ask, the more opportunities they have to work directly with me and get feedback directly from me, usually video feedback. And then I'm there every single week of the calendar year with live Q&As. And again, many people would say that, as soon as you hit 100K inside a coaching business, time to start outsourcing yourself. But that's just not the case. You should 100% be hiring a great team around you. And there's 3 levels of hiring, which we'll go through in this video, but you do not have to completely bring yourself out of coaching to grow a great coaching business. I hate talking about my own income and the revenue that we do in the coaching business, but if anybody knows our prices and sees the amount of coaches that we're working with on a day-to-day basis inside our groups, you can probably do the maths. We're hitting the kind of numbers that most people talk about but don't actually achieve anything close to themselves or for the clients that they work with. Our clients hit those numbers, I personally hit those numbers, and I do it while still continuing to coach inside the business. But here's the key thing. You don't realize that when you continue to coach inside your business, at least in some capacity, you not only have much higher retention rates inside your coaching product. Second of all, you can continue to charge good prices as well. The third key thing is you have complete understanding of what's working and what's not inside your coaching business. What do you need to tweak around your product to get your clients better results? What do you need to do to refine the product further so it's more streamlined for the clients? Is the same question coming up multiple times? Well, there should be a solution there so that it no longer comes up and it's just naturally solved throughout the delivery of the product quite naturally. There's so many things that happen, even like coming up with great social media content, emails, lead magnets and things of that nature, by actually doing coaching and seeing what your coaching clients are going through right this very second within the year. It's a complete game changer for everything inside the coaching business. So a lot of coaches, especially the ones inside Systems of Scale, where coaches are working with us who are doing 6, multi-6, 7 or multi-7 figures inside their coaching business, so often they come to me and say, I've been told by somebody else that, I really need to stop coaching and I really need to move out of it. But Neil, I love that element of the business and I can't see myself just being like an operations person. Like I can't see myself doing that. It wouldn't fulfill me. And I always say to them, well, you don't need to do that then. You can still have great systems in place that allow you to scale the coaching business and bring on a lot of clients, increase the revenue, increase the profitability, while still making it a business that truly fulfills you. And never mind the fact that that's one side of the coin. On the other side, even if it didn't fulfill you, there's so many benefits from staying inside the coaching business, for retention rates, for pricing structures, and also for gathering information on how to build and continue to build the 6-star experience going forward. Okay, the number 6 one here is actually all around team. Without team, I couldn't do what I've done over the last 8 years inside the coaching business. And there's a really interesting one that came up from Jack actually the other day. He was saying about how he had now brought on team into his coaching business, and he said that he was worried that the clients wouldn't appreciate it and that the clients would end up leaving. And he's had these new hires inside of his coaching business for the last couple of months. So I asked him a key question. What's your retention rate right now, the last 2 months, versus what was it prior? And he came back and he said, oh my goodness, the retention rate in the business has actually increased. My churn rate has gone down in the last 2 months. And I said, it was exactly the same for myself, albeit that I never ever to this day have ever brought myself out of the day-to-day coaching inside my coaching business. Here's the really interesting thing. When I only had 10 coaching clients versus having 220 coaching clients, I could not deliver the quality of product that we have right now with the team around us and team doing many bits and pieces inside delivery. I could not deliver this quality of product when people were working with me one-to-one and I only had 10 clients to think about, because I technically can't be everywhere every minute of every day. Okay, I can't be available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, the phone pinging at 4 in the morning and waking up and answering a question. I can't be there at all times, especially when we've got clients from all over the world. However, when we have team that are not only incredible coaches, there's literally nobody inside our team that hasn't grown an exceptional coaching business for themselves through our systems, like literally ground up online. Like, we've grown incredible coaching businesses from scratch with them online. However, the product that we are able to deliver now, when somebody can ask a question when I'm asleep at 3:15 a.m. and they can get a detailed, incredible answer, usually video feedback or whatever it may be, and they can get that answer in under an hour inside the group instead of having to wait for me to get up on this side of the world, that is an amazing thing. And further to that, albeit the coaches that work inside our coaching business, of course, they're all incredible coaches and they've come through our systems. But the really cool thing is they all have their own experiences as well. They all have the things that they really specialize in. And those coaches are incredible for our coaches to be able to get access to, because they all run their own coaching businesses as well. And so they're literally at the highest level with multi-six or deep multi-six figure coaching businesses. They're literally running these strategies at the highest level. And so being able to give the foresight of this is what we've done, and many strategies, they're such incredible coaches that many things that they do are just, they have the ability to come up with ideas and action them and get incredible results with them. And guess what? Our coaching clients get to benefit from that great mind, that great coach with a great business who is actively still coaching right this very second. It's an amazing thing for our clients to have access to versus it being something that actually takes it away. Now, team has 3 levels of hiring. You can call it low, mid, and high level. Low is the sort of tasks that many people could do. It's like virtual assistants, inverted commas, busy work. Lots of people could do it if they had the training to be able to do it. And then you go to the mid. That's sort of like skilled work. You'd have to charge a little bit more or pay a little bit more. It could be like video editing and things of that nature. And then at the highest level, you have people doing what you actually do. That's people taking your sales calls or people actually helping you in the delivery of your product. And I usually say that you should actually focus on, number 1, and get all of those things done before you move on to number 2. Instead of trying to find a coach whilst also trying to find a VA and also trying to find a video editor and things of that nature, tick off all the lowest end tasks first and get all of those time consuming busy work things that wouldn't cost a lot to outsource, get them done first to save you a ton of time. Then the second thing is then you find the video editors and the content creators and things of that nature, and then you can look at that. And then at the next step, that is when you start to look at the people that can help you at the top end of delivery of your product and taking sales calls and things of that nature. By doing this, you're going to save yourself so much time, energy, and effort, and it is going to open up the floodgates to how many clients you can actually work with, that you can deliver to, that you can onboard, that you can retain, to be able to earn a lot more, whilst the outgoings in terms of team is a small portion of ultimately what that revenue potential can actually be. So it's a way to actually produce a better coaching experience while simultaneously allowing you to earn more whilst you're at it. Okay, to finish off, the perfect week schedule was a huge proponent for me. Now, this is something that I worked on for a long period of time and took it even more seriously when my son was born in October last year. Now, for me personally, the perfect week plan was built so that I could continue to grow the coaching business, still be fully immersed in it, and get so much satisfaction out of the business itself, as well as, of course, continuing to grow it, whilst actually doing less hours within the business and also making sure that I got to spend so much time with my son throughout his waking hours. And so for me personally, albeit that I'm not a morning person whatsoever, it did mean that I had to make the, conscious decision to work from I get up at 5 and then shortly after I'm right into work. I literally don't take a break until midday, other than literally when I hear that my son and my wife are up, then I'll come downstairs and I'll heat up the milk and I'll make my wife a cup of tea, and then I'm back upstairs and I'm right in this room and back to work. But by being so diligent with it and doing stuff that I really love on the day-to-day basis within the business, it means that I'm not this isn't like a discipline thing, that I'm able to work from about 5:30 in the morning till 12 p.m. without actually taking any breaks. It's actually because I'm very conscious about what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, so that I'm maintaining my energy and I actually look forward to these working hours. It then means that at about 12 p.m, I get to walk downstairs and know that I've ticked off so much in terms of, ticked off in terms of part of the day plan. The day plan's done. I've done everything that I know that I need to do inside the coaching business that day. We've likely worked with coaching clients, done some level of live delivery, probably taken some one-to-one calls, created some content, shared content. It might be like this right now on a Tuesday. And this all filters into my perfect week plan. And I'm going to go through with you what the perfect week plan is and how you can create one directly for yourself so that you grow the coaching business quicker whilst actually creating a lifestyle that you love simultaneously. And so, albeit that I will probably end up creating a video specifically about this in the future, actually let me know down below, do you want me to create a video on this specifically with the step-by-steps, detailing it, visual, so you can see exactly how I built my perfect week plan, what I do on a day-to-day basis within my hours, how I split up my hours and make sure that everything moves forward. If you'd be interested in that, let me know down below, and I'll make it in one of the near future videos as well. But essentially, what it is not just going, oh, perfect must be 5 years away. That's what most coaches think, and that's what most coaches do. Instead, you actually want to go, what is perfect? And you want to actually write that out. So for me personally, it's about 5:30 in the morning till 12 p.m, Monday to Friday, and then on a Saturday and on a Sunday, it's more like 7 through to somewhere in the region of 10:30, maybe 11 a.m. And then the rest of the time, I'm dad. And I get to be there for my son, which is fantastic, and be there with my wife and get to experience amazing things. Like when I go downstairs, we will be testing out some new solid foods with him, because he's at that stage now with 2 teeth on the bottom, which is absolutely fantastic. So create that perfect plan of action, and then the next step from that is to come up with what is everything you do in a week, and actually filter that out, everything you do in a week. Then the next step is to remove anything that maybe you've been doing in a repeatable fashion, but actually isn't serving you or your business. This comes back to data and what we talked about earlier on in this video. If you get crystal clear on the things that aren't serving you or moving the business forward, you can actually start to remove those time-sapping things from your list. The next thing is to find the people in the first step, second step, and third step of hiring. I didn't even know this was all going to come together quite nicely here, but to find those people who could take major things off of your plan of action. And then the next step is to start actually taking the things that are remaining on the list and to actually start filtering them into the perfect week plan. Once you have that, you're in a position where you can actually repeat it. So I actually have a template for it, and every Saturday I duplicate it and I start editing it accordingly so it's in line with everything that I need the next week to be, with anything that might be unique and things of that nature. It's a complete game changer. It has changed my life. The business continues to grow even though my hours are less than they've ever been, and we've got an incredible coaching business with a super high referral rate, super high retention rate, and I get to be there for my son on a day-to-day basis. Okay, coach, hope that was valuable to you. If it was, as always, hit subscribe, hit like, and if you're a really great human being, then drop a comment below as well. It'd be much appreciated, and I'll come back to you there. Any ideas for additional videos, anything I can help with along ads, social medias, gaining new clients for your coaching business, or general growth of your coaching business in general? Somebody actually asked me on another video if I would actually do a long form video about exactly how I manage money in general across business and personal, which I'm more than open to creating. So let me know if you're interested in that as well. Other than that, everybody have a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next video. Oh, and as always, if you would like to bounce with me for 20 minutes on the perfect ads and social strategy to generate as many leads as possible for your coaching business in the next 6 weeks, then drop down below. There's a link there that takes you through to the opportunity to bounce with me directly.